Before this video starts, once again, I'd like to give a good shout out to my good friend Kate. If it wasn't for him, this video would not be possible. I'll leave his Instagram in the link in the description below. I hope you guys actually enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Now, Dead Rising 2 is probably one of the most recognizable games in video game history, and probably one of the most famous franchises Capcom actually has rights to. But I never went in quite detail what I actually think about the game in my own opinion. Though there was many things about the game I could have gone over in the best third-person shooters, I couldn't because it would take too much of the video's time. But in here I'll be going over what's my favorite things in Dead Rising 2. Let's get into it. Now, the active prequel that was actually released back in 2010 was outstanding, how it actually made a good development of Chuck the character for his daughter Katie. It actually had quite a good opening, having Chuck's truck being stolen at the middle of the game.
Hey! That's my truck! Stop!
Now, of course, that truck being stolen actually makes sense, how even such a cool and actually developed world before this apocalypse, it seemed like we were surrounded by monsters the whole time before the zombie outbreak even happened. Now, the main thing that actually made me hype for this game in the first place was the active bosses. As anybody has played the series, the game is mostly known for the amount of psychopaths you fought. But not only did the sheer difficulty, including gameplay they bring to the table, the character development of their insanity, including amazing dialogue that has been set up with the actors, have been outstanding. Now, the amount of motion that actually goes through the bosses between their insanity, anger, or even deep depression, it actually goes to make sense that even in real life this can actually happen to people if there isn't no zombie outbreak whatsoever, meaning that fact that they always been like that. It's just sometimes even some people even have their limits. What makes sense would set them off in the first place.
This.
How dare you! I'm Antoine! I am the king of cuisine! No matter, this can still be a once-in-a-lifetime meal, so sit, relax. Antoine will make you dinner!
Broken man. You just don't got it anymore, do you? What's your problem? Are you such a chump, Chuck? Hey! Over here! I'll race you for him. Way to help anyone. Oh, I see. You're losing the courage to finish what you started. Well, I have the guts, and I'm taking this thing all the way.
Now, how all of you seeing this, how is it relevant to the video? Well, it's probably irrelevant because it makes it real scary in person, as you actually think that this is actual real people, and of course this can happen to anybody. Like I said in the beginning, it actually is pretty true. Also, I really do love Chuck Green more than actually Frank West. Chuck Green brings more into the table rather than Frank. As anybody knows, Frank mostly makes jokes and he probably has a reason to fight, mostly looking forward to the truth considering he's a reporter. But however, Chuck Green is more developed. He has lost his home, his wife, and the only career development including family he has left is Katie, meaning he'll do anything to keep her safe, even if that means killing innocents. Now, as some of you might call that selfish, it's actually human in a way, how anybody in the world would do anything they can to keep their family safe, as of course Chuck is a father and his rightful job is actually to keep Katie safe and make sure she actually stays safe. Now, of course, between what Chuck does to keep Katie safe, he actually cares for people as well, how the game gives you options to save civilians to bring them to the bunker. Now, think what you want about Chuck, but he is many things, but a hothead isn't one of them. Chuck Green refuses to live into the past, letting old feelings come back to haunt him. But through this, he does not let the fit of rage get what's actually right. As anybody who has played this game, when TK gets bitten, anybody knows that you have a choice to save him or let him die. I actually picked the choice to save him because it brings more development to Chuck. This is because it proves his intelligence. Though Chuck is very creative when it comes to combo weapons and bikes, he's also creative with the human anatomy with the mind. How he knows TK is the only one who can clear his name about the outbreak. So it would actually make sense, why does he need him alive? That's why I did it, because Chuck Green proves his intelligence quite amazing.
I don't know how you lasted this long, TK, but you are one lucky bastard.
No such thing as luck, little man. It's the superior genes.
Oh! My daughter takes this better than you.
You raised her right, Chucky. It's a real shame she has to die.
Oh!
Now of course, everything I just went over, including let that scene properly go in motion, I also hope I actually cleared some of the air with the ending, including character development of surrounding Chuck, so I hope I made the game a bit more better to you in story-wise. Now of course, between all of this, that doesn't properly mean Chuck Green gets angry now and again. How if you find out the sheriff is behind this the whole time, how he's been hired by TK so he can actually get his proper payment, and he actually tries to leave Las Vegas. But as you find out, he actually started more than one outbreak, how he actually was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of people, including Chuck's wife. Now of course, the deputy who started the outbreak makes sense, how he was a bit shady in the beginning of the game. Now if you go into actually proper detail of this scene, it wasn't the sheriff that mastered it. In fact, it was actually Chuck Green. How most in the boss fights, Chuck rather even talks, or he doesn't even talk for that matter. He actually goes to the more former detail surrounding the sheriff, how he finds out that he started the outbreak, and the dialogue that has been said around Chuck is outstanding.
Way of life! You murdered these people!
Acceptable losses. This wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last.
You bastard! You did it! You caused the Vegas outbreak too, didn't you? You killed my wife, destroyed my family!
Everything that we have done has been absolutely necessary.
So it goes to show that Chuck Green's actor knows what he's doing with this character. Not only this, but the actor who actually plays the sheriff is outstanding as well. How you see the creative beliefs that he actually knows, how he doesn't want to hear Chuck what he has to say, but he'd rather just leave when he has the time. Also, this also leads to his proper execution. It was actually pretty amazing by Capcom. Now of course, the sheriff himself, his motive actually makes sense. He wants to bring the humanization closer together with the outbreaks. How anytime he sees the world being corrupted more than usual, he makes another outbreak only to bring people more closer together. And of course, as anybody knows, sacrifices must be made. And of course, he actually knows that he doesn't like to do it, he just has to do it. So I do like the master emotion that actually goes into it, how he doesn't do it for the money, but for the sake of humanity. So that actually was a very amazing plot by Capcom. So we've been talking about the story for a long time, so what do we think about it? Well, of course, it's actually pretty amazing. Between the atmosphere, amazing dialogue, including creative bosses, including the amazing plot surrounding the sheriff, all of it's naturally pretty amazing, and actually is a bit default to the actual truth of the real world. So if I were you guys, if you're going to play this game for the natural of the true story, go play it. You would not be disappointed. And of course, let's get into the real thing the whole series is known for. That is the gameplay. Let's get into it right now. So the visual of the combo weapons are outstanding. All of them are visually creative, and the fact that you need so much duct tape to just tape some certain stuff together, it actually does not make quite sense, but hey, what are you going to do? It's a video game, I can do whatever I want. You can make a spike bat, you can actually make an electric chair, not only this, you can actually make a mountain gun surrounding with teddy bears. It's outstanding by all standards, come on. But of course, the natural true gameplay and emotion that went into the actual writing of the weapons makes sense. Though most of them are surrounded by duct tape for some reason, it actually is creative by general. Even some of the combo weapons that are considered useless, they're creative as anybody could say. So I can actually feel the true love that Capcom put for the weapons. So if I were you guys, take the time and effort you can to make as much of combo weapons as you can, because you will not regret a thing. So let's also get into the open world. This is actually the open world map, and you start to wonder what can make this game more fun surrounded by zombies. Well, of course, why would you need the axe at? It's a game surrounded by zombies. You have plenty of things to do. Now, keep in mind, the amount of open world, why would you need to explore it? Well, of course, you would need to look for civilians, but what if you get bored of that? But thankfully, the game added in a simple mechanic for you to get stronger, and that is the comic books. Now, these comic books more focuses on your skill tree. When it comes to actually helping your companions, you making your combo weapons last longer, it actually gives you a proper excuse to explore the open world for you to get what you want easier. As you know, some companions in this game can't even walk, and you must carry them all the way to the bunker. But that's a bit annoying because you can't defend yourself. So there is a certain comic book where they can actually walk by themselves. So pretty useful, right? Not only this, but to those who love using guns in this game, well, there's an upside to that too. There is a magazine for you to actually increase the weapon damage, including magazine size, so you can actually shoot more than you actually had in the clip, making it pretty amazing if you like using guns. Well, I don't consider you like using guns, but hell, that's up to you. But hell, there is plenty of magazines to help you out there in the main game itself, and it actually gives you a proper excuse for you to actually explore it even more often. So if I were you guys, take the time and effort you can to actually look for these magazines, because it makes the game much easier. You won't regret a thing when I say so. So yep, let's get into the other amazing feature of the game. Now, this game gives you a whole bunch of variety when it comes to combo weapons, but what about drinks? Yeah, you can actually combine all kinds of drinks to make yourself stronger. But not only this, but the amount of true development that went into these drinks are amazing. There are some that actually make you move faster if you combine orange juice with wine. There's one where you can actually spit fire if you combine a burrito with a taco. All of them are naturally pretty creative, but a bit ridiculous to actually combine with. Now, of course, most of these combo drinks are mostly abused to actually have fun with the open world. But however, people refuse to believe that some of them can actually help you in boss fights. For example, if you combine 2 vodkas together, you get something called a painkiller. This painkiller can even get you to full HP even at level 50. So it is pretty amazing if you want to explore the open world to help you with a boss fight too. So by all means, do whatever you can to actually become stronger with the vending machine, either when it actually involves you getting back health for the boss fight, or either you fooling around with the zombies by spitting fire at them. All of it is actually pretty amazing and fun, and I highly recommend you actually give it a chance because you won't regret a thing. The other true outstanding performance, including amazing mechanic that's added in by Capcom, is also the companions. These certain survivors don't actually have a quite skill when they fight to the zombies or bosses, but however, when you get a certain group going around, like The Walking Dead, you can actually get a whole army able to do whatever you want. But not only this, if you're not looking forward to an army, and if you want to go on your own, still do it. You need the quite of XP for you to get stronger with the proper mechanical way, and including you need all the help you can get. Now, not only this, that some of these people actually give you stuff if you bring them to the bunker. One brings you Zombrex, one gives you money, one gives you a key to a vault. All of it's actually pretty amazing, and I highly recommend you guys do whatever you can to save the survivors because it is pretty much worth it. Keep in mind, look how much people are behind Chuck. All those people, imagine equipping with all submachine guns. The ultimate slaughter against the zombies and bosses will be outstanding. And then also, these certain companions actually give you a quite excuse to actually explore the open world to keep you more occupied. And keep in mind, like I said in the beginning, they give you rewards, including with XP. So if you're not in it for actually having help in this game, you might as well just do it for the XP to make you stronger. So there's that. And of course, the final great thing about this game is actually the last level, the outstanding against Chuck Green, including TK. It actually has a dense and amazing atmosphere, and the fact that he took place where it all started, it's amazing. Bearing in mind, you might think this might be easy with your combo weapons, but there is no combo weapons whatsoever. You must be picking up anything you have your disposal to like a real survivor, making the thing more stressful than it needs to be. But not only this, that the fact that Katie is being held by zombies, and you need to keep pulling on the crane to bring them back up. This makes it much scarier and a bit harder at the same time, but however, it brought more excitement to the boss fight. And the way that they properly disposed of TK was actually pretty amazing, though it wasn't the most creative kill in the whole series, but the true atmosphere of the true happiness that goes to Chuck, including with his new family, I just love the real feeling to it, how I never seen a Capcom game end so happy.